So that E in exit plan. Okay, so let's get into exit. I told y'all I like acronyms. Okay, so that E for exit. So how are we going to market ourselves, whether we're in network or not in network? How are we going to push things forward, right? So E. So I wrote down E as standing for exposure. Okay, exposure. So you have to realize, and I read a lot of books too, okay? I think last time I told you guys about, I don't know if I told you about Secrets of a Millionaire Mind. That's a really good book. And then Rich Dad, Poor Dad. You got to be careful. I listened to that audio on YouTube. You got to be careful about listening to that one because it will really have you creating an exit plan and like literally jumping on the other quadrant from being an employee to an investor in a self-owned business, in a business owner. So that book is crazy. But we're going to start with exposure. A lot of you people, that's my girl. Y'all see that? Look at that. Detroit's #1 alopecia braider. Do you see how she's branding herself 24/7? Okay. But thank you, Miss Precious. So E for exposure. And look, I just assumed it was Precious. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. But E for exposure. We have to realize that like some of this stuff is really like statistics, okay? And what I mean by that is we get very down. We get very, very down on ourselves, feeling like nobody is signing up or nobody is booking with us or buying whatever we're selling, but we're not realizing that we're simply not exposing enough people, okay? 1 in 10 people will join your business. I learned that when I was doing network marketing. 1 in 10 people will join your business. So going back to if you know your numbers, you can grow your numbers. Well, if you haven't exposed the people, if you haven't exposed over 100 people, then don't expect 10 people to book. So it really, really gets like that. Every single day, I am talking to somebody, whether it's a student, whether it's a veteran, whether it's somebody with insurance, whether it's a private pay. I make sure that I am filling my calendar up with talking to people. Okay. And if I don't have, since 2016, y'all, I've always had something on my to-do list. So it's very rare that I don't, but if I don't have something on my to-do list, best believe I'm getting up and I'm getting out because what is going on? Okay. So you need to be exposing people and you need to be talking to people. Okay. This is going to be a very, very good Zoom, especially for the people that I don't want to do social media. I don't want to da da da. Baby, last month I had over a 30K month and I was in a whole nother country. Okay. So you can definitely make money without having to be on social media. I'm not going to knock social media, but you definitely can make money without social media. I've told some students this before, because a good question that students like to ask me is, so are you really making money from the wigs or are you making money from selling us the course, right? So that's a great question to ask. But it takes 2 of you to equal 1 of my hair loss client. So anytime that, love y'all to death, but anytime I'm doing stuff like this, I'm missing out on my high ticketed item. Okay. So with that being said, I make a lot of money from the wigs. Anytime I am promoting on social media, I'm going to be honest with y'all, a lot of times it's for you. It's to attract you and get you to take the course. And the reason being is because how many people y'all know are on social media saying, hey, I have hair loss, I have alopecia, I got patches in my head. How many people are doing that? Not many, right? So with that being said, again, I promote on social media, but it's also to let y'all know I'm actually doing the work. I'm actually working with clients. I'm still active in my business. I'm not sitting back like, oh, I'm the educator and y'all the students. No, that's not that at all. Because you learn more and as I continue to work with people. And I absolutely love what I do. So E is for exposure. So a lot of times, the reason why it may be hard for you guys to sell something, especially like a high ticketed item or service, is because you're hitting your cold markets. So how do you get people to be warm, right? So cold markets will be cold calling, door-to-door sales, things like that. So the way to tap into your warm market, first, your family, okay? Family, friends. I do not play that. If you don't want to wear a wig from me, that's absolutely fine. But I need you to share the flyer. It costs $0 to tell a veteran about my service. It costs $0 to tell anybody that I have wigs, period. So that's a task I will give to you guys. It may be very, very uncomfortable for you, but that's perfect, right? Money is not in our comfort zone. Anytime I feel comfortable, I'm like, we gotta get uncomfortable, okay? And I see a lot of women on this call. I know y'all got either kids or some nieces, nephews, but guess what? Them kids about to start school, and they need some school clothes, okay? So with that being said, this weekend should make you real uncomfortable because them kids need some school clothes, okay? So with that being said, you should go through your phone, literally, with whatever your flyer is. Don't make it a long message. If you have to explain your business, you're going to confuse people, and a confused mind does absolutely nothing. A confused mind don't buy either, okay? They don't book services if they're confused. So whatever your flyer is, whatever you want people to know about you or subscribe to your website, whatever it is, let me write that down while I just said subscribe. Whatever it is, guess what you will need to do? Send that flyer to everybody with your link. Okay, go through your whole phone. I remember I was going through my phone. I was like, I don't even know who number this is. Oh my God, I ain't talked to this person in years. I'm just like, oh my God. So that's my task to you, because those people already know you. Your family and friends, they already know you, and they can vouch for you. They have that credibility. Also, you're being exposed to their network. So a lot of times, give me 1 second, y'all. Y'all know my son last week, he got busted his eye. Now this week he got the stitches out, okay? Go back in your room, baby.
Can I get the apple drink?
Oh, we don't have apple juice. You can go get you some grapes, though. Okay, so sorry about that. Yeah, so tell everyone in your phone, best friends, spouses, like, I'm just telling y'all, when you get serious about your business and you're not playing about your business, then people will take you and your business serious. So, it used to be a point of time before I was working with, hair loss. I would get upset. People walking around here with wigs on, people walking around here getting their hair done and not, booking with me. I'm like, I don't know, I feel some type of way. But that's really real though. If you're not going to wear it or you're not going to, do services, that's absolutely fine. But spread the message, post it on your story, something like that. And the reason why I say that is because I support people. I definitely support people. So it's like, I wouldn't do you, if you're my best friend, I wouldn't do you like that and not at least shot with you or shout you out, right? Another thing too, I just lost it, y'all. It was so good. I forgot. But yeah, so again, some of you guys, and somebody had to tell me this too. They said, man, your stuff is so good, but you never, this is what I reached out to a marketer. They said, but you never give out free game. You never do anything for free. And I'm like, what? And they like, yeah, like a lot of people kind of give something. So in order to build up your email list or your subscriber list, you have to give something to get something, right? So all of you on this Zoom tonight, I had like over 50 people sign up. And maybe they couldn't make the Zoom, but guess what? I now have, it feels so weird. I hate doing marketing classes because it feels so weird because like, I'm such a nice person. I want everybody to win. But when it comes out of my mouth sometimes, I don't know if it sounds bad or I think it just sounds too cutthroat or something. But it's a marketing class, so y'all can't get mad at the tactics and stuff. Okay, so as y'all can see, that marketer told me I don't do anything free. We have a free webinar now, right? But that's warming you up. Okay, give me value instead of okay. Thank you, value, honey. But yeah, so even though I don't know you guys, We will be exposed to their network. Exactly. You're going to be exposed to your family and friends network. And when we're talking about veterans, there's millions of veterans out there. And when we're talking about alopecia, you have to also stress to people, alopecia, it doesn't have to be complete alopecia totalis. It can be someone, missing their edges. So alopecia could be shedding, any type of thinning. You know what I mean? So sometimes, one thing that I tell people a lot is, Zion, take the whole bag of grapes, baby. Just take.
And then I'll eat it all.
Okay.
I'm gonna eat it all.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, so you get exposed to all of these people networks. And one thing I say, because people like to say, well, I'll take your flyer, but I know a veteran, but I don't know if they have hair loss. I say, you know what? Hey, don't even worry about it, because that's not something that someone's going to just openly share. So just spread the word to all the veterans that you know. And they be like, okay, cool. And people be randomly calling me, I got your number from this, I got your number from that. So yeah, definitely you're exposed to their network. So just like I said, so I was able to, when I did the free webinars, I was able to get you guys email addresses, right? So with that being said, now if I have another type of pop-up or whatever the case may be, I just shoot you an email, right? So that's another thing too. A lot of people are not collecting leads. And then if you are collecting leads, you're not doing anything with it. You're not sending out weekly emails, or you haven't set up a text messaging system through Square app or through Slick Text where you can text people the information, because not everybody check their emails these days. So do you see what I'm saying? One of the ladies that I was on an education platform with, she had people's information from 1995. And y'all know my class is under $2,000. She was doing classes at $5,000 to $7,000. And people were introducing themselves saying, oh, I've been taking her classes since 1997. I'm like, what? Loyal people. That's because they have now become her warm market. So even though some of us just met tonight, you know a pretty decent amount of information about me. I have a son, I have a business, I was a hospital director. You feel a lot more, I believe in God. You know what I mean? You feel a lot more comfortable saying, okay, yeah, let me take the class with her, right? Exactly. Loyalty. Also too, what was I getting ready to say? Even one thing, so Miss Malakia found me on YouTube actually. And so when she called me, I'm like, oh yeah, this is me. And I said, yeah, just like you was able to reach me today, you'll be able to reach me tomorrow. And she was like, you said that, but the video I was watching was a year ago, so I didn't know if things changed. So I said, let me call. I'm like, yeah, girl, this is me. So, you know what I mean? So we're warming up to each other. She's no longer my cold market. You know what I mean? We somewhat know each other. She shared some things with me today too. She told me her name means angel. You know what I mean? So we're warming up to each other. Okay. But if you're not exposing people enough, so the word of the day is going to be consistency. If you're not consistently exposing people, going to events, always keeping flyers and business cards on you. Nobody better not ever walk by me with a veteran hat on because they're getting a flyer. I don't care if they a man, a woman. I don't care if they old. I don't care if they, Black, Hispanic, Caucasian. Like, you're going to get a flyer from me. Don't let me see no license plate that say DV. Oh, hello, because you're getting a flyer too. Okay. I saw a girl on Instagram, and all of the relaxers that was in Target, all of the box of relaxers, she slid business cards in there. So, you know what I mean? Exposure, constantly exposing yourself. Events are very important. Let me show y'all something right here with my students. So, here's one of my students right here. She's in Richmond, Virginia. Okay, y'all can see that. Kayla, she makes beautiful wigs, y'all. But yeah, so she's one of my students in Richmond, Virginia. As you can see, she has her banner up, branding, everything look luxury. Look at what she has on. She looks so cute. You know what I mean? Like very feminine, very color coordinated. She has something to show. She has different races on her banner. It's very cut and dry. Wigs for veterans. Like, yeah, that looks really, really good. Let me go to another student. So here is Steven. I talked to you guys about him last time, him and his wife. Same thing. They're in New York. They're in Buffalo, New York. Who would have knew? Buffalo, New York is out there by Niagara Falls. I mean, never would even guess that people were needing wigs out there, but they need them everywhere. Hair loss happens to all races and ages, okay? So boom, you see his flyer. This is where she texts me. This is what I'm talking about. Like, my students know you don't walk outside without promoting your business. As you can see, they're literally on the date night. So that's his wife. They're literally on the date night at the Wiz. Talking about, girl, cracking myself up. This is our date night. Dropping flyers all up in here. I'm like, yes. And she's saying we're working our work. Because that's one thing that I tell people who do take the class, or tell me, I took this other person class and I don't, all that kind of stuff like that. I believe that there's something that you can get from everybody class. It may not always be the best class. I pride myself in my class. But you can take something from everybody. And I always say, sometimes it's not that the class didn't work or the program didn't work. You literally don't work. Okay? You don't work. The way you do one thing is literally the way you do every single thing. That's why every day I try to be better today than I was yesterday. If it's anything with my child, I want to be a better mother today than I was the day before. With my fiance, I want to be a better fiance today than I was the day before. I want to be a better daughter today than I was yesterday. I'm always trying to improve myself in every area, because I know that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So if there is something in your business where you're not consistent at, take a look over your life, because there's probably some other areas where you're not consistent in. And this is something that you have to practice, right? Consistency, not everybody just naturally is a consistent person, okay? So it's definitely something you have to work at and be consistent with. This is something that I haven't even done. So Courtney, that's Steven's wife, she do not play. So she don't walk outside without promoting the business, and it's actually his business, but she is definitely working it, and she's doing it. Okay. So as you can see, boom, she got it on her t-shirt. Okay. Look at this. They're not playing, y'all. My students are not playing. Like, they are literally thinking outside of the box, and they're telling themselves, like, I'm tired. I'm tired of going to restaurants. When I first met them, they said, I want to go to Egypt just like you went to Egypt. They put me on to a conference that I went to, that I was an educator for last year. And I asked them where they going this year. And Steven was like, no, it's my wife's anniversary. It's always around that time. No, I have to take her somewhere. So it's like, when my students start putting the work in, it really do be life-changing. This is another one of my students. I'm trying not to laugh, but when she called me, she started making that money. She was saying some crazy stuff. I'm like, girl, don't you quit, some things that she was wanting to move around from. I'm like, girl, hold on now. Hold on. We got to keep working the plan, okay? But this is her on the news or on somebody's show. What they say? Eastern Lifestyle. Yeah, so she was on the news. Steven also was on the news up there in New York. April is in North Carolina. She's on the news, and then I'll get to that later. Okay, so what are they doing? They're absolutely exposing themselves. And events, guys. Events will make somebody warm up to you pretty fast. So any city that you're in or wherever you live at, you need to see if there's any breast cancer, any cancer events, if there are any veteran events. Once you take the class, you start working with the VA, then you definitely need to be at veteran events, okay? And one thing about those events is that you're not having to get the people. So I think that's what people don't understand about exposure and working with other people in networking, because I'm not, when I got a veteran event to go to in October. I'm not responsible for bringing those veterans out. I'm not responsible for lunch. I just show up, I set my table up, and boom, voila. Over hundreds of veterans are going to be there. Same thing if I go to a cancer event. I'm not now as someone who's going to have a table at these places. Once they make me a flyer, yeah, I'll send it out, but I'm not responsible for all the intricate details, the venue, the food, the decorations. I'm not responsible for that. But guess what I am doing? I'm tapping into their network, and then I'm also working with different providers that may be there. Nurses, doctors, dermatologists, social workers. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of good quality people are at those veteran events and that are at those cancer events. So next I want to talk about, so back to our exit plan, I want to talk about X, okay? So it's true what they say. X marked the spot. I did miss a question. He said, is alopecia hair slow growth? You know what? Everybody is different. It just depends on their chemical makeup in their body. Some, depending on what someone may be going through, it may be something that happens rapidly. Cancer, chemo, things like that. But it could be something that happens over time. It can also be genetic. So some people may say, oh, well, my mother or my dad started losing hair around this age and the same thing is happening to me, So you really want to refer those people they really need to get a blood test too. It could be a vitamin deficiency. It could be so many things. Most dermatologists will do like a biopsy, send it off to the lab just to kind of take a deeper look in to see what's going on. So alopecia could be gradual or it could be, pretty instant. Sometimes it can be from medications. It can be from childbirth. So many things can contribute to hair loss, thyroid issues, poor nutrition, different things like that. So X marks the spot. I just love y'all in the chat, okay? X absolutely marks the spot. Another reason why some businesses are not successful is because they haven't figured out their niche. So when I was doing everything, y'all, I used to do braids. Let me stop this on my